So from West Virginia to Iowa, and we have the opportunity to hear from Kate and Michelle today from Iowa. And Kate and Michelle, my understanding is you just want to talk about some of the things that you're doing and telework agreements and helping staff office with their rotations and other best practices you're using in Iowa. So let's do a mic check with Kate and with Michelle.
Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Kate Busmus with Iowa Department of Agriculture.
And this is Michelle Timur. I'm on as well.
Thanks, Michelle. Take it away, folks.
All right. Well, like I mentioned, my name is Kate Busmus. I'm the Assistant Director for the Division of Soil Conservation and Water Quality, the Iowa Department of Ag and Land Stewardship. And like many of you, we have really had to think on our feet the last few weeks and few months and try to get creative with the way that we do some things. So, one of the things I wanted to mention that IDOLS has been doing, like many of you, is we have everybody in telework status. And when all of this started happening, the thing that all of our leadership was wanted to make sure was a priority was to keep everybody in pay status. There are a lot of things that we do that are very, customer facing, one-on-one contacts with landowners and producers. So we sometimes it can be kind of hard to take some of that home, if you will, and transition that way. So we've had to be pretty creative, but I think it's gone pretty well. So, not only have we been encouraging our staff to do their regular work, but if there's additional time during their workday, taking that opportunity to find different conservation related webinars and videos, things like that, and take this as an opportunity to maybe learn a little something new and hopefully be able to bring it back to their district when things get back to the new normal. So we have 100 soil and water conservation districts in Iowa, and all of the state, federal, and district conservation staff have been authorized to be in telework status. And so of those folks, IDOLS has over 150 of our Division of Soil Conservation and Water Quality staff working out of the USDA service centers. So when all this started happening, our leadership worked across our department. We have 2 different divisions to work to put together some kind of temporary telework agreement. It's definitely not anything mind-blowing, but it was basically to make sure that staff knew what expectations we had for them, that they knew what they needed to do to document their time, how leave policies continued to play into their regular day-to-day work, how managing equipment and supplies needed to happen, and then also workspace expectations and safety. So all of our managers worked one-on-one, often over the phone, and with the use of email to contact every one of our staff members to go through the telework agreement and the telework preparation checklist with them to ensure that there weren't any questions from the get-go just on how this was going to work. As we have moved forward, obviously some questions and things like that have come up, and we do our best to answer those. And so I'll let Michelle talk about those in a couple minutes. But when we first put our telework agreement into place, we've been kind of handling it on a 2-week period. So we'll look for the governor's guidance. Our Secretary of Agriculture will then make some decisions, based on the status of different locations in Iowa, as well as what is the NRCS current policy on being in offices and things like that. So every 2 weeks we take the opportunity to reevaluate the situation and continue to extend those as needed. Our current telework agreement is extended through the 15th of this month, and your guess is as good as mine at this point how that will continue to play forward. But I have a feeling that whenever offices are allowed to open up, it'll definitely be a kind of a slow roll back into that new normal. Like many of you, the NRCS offices are considered open, but the doors are locked. So we're working hard to encourage farmers and customers to contact the staff by phone and email and schedule appointments. And so I'm going to turn it over to Michelle Timur, who does a lot of day-to-day work with field staff.
Thank you, Kate. So I'm Michelle Timur. I'm the field representative for the Northwest part of Iowa. In Iowa, since we're with the NRCS offices mostly for the soil and water conservation districts, we have followed their area boundaries, and we have a field rep for each of the 4 areas of Iowa. So each have about 24 or 25 counties. With that, we each are dealing with their staff directly, making sure their telework agreements and everything are in place. We also deal with them directly depending on how their office is set up to cover the office. So some NRCS offices are very large and they have room for several people to work out of it. Others, it might be best just to have 1 or 2 in there at the moment. So we work on it with a case-by-case basis. And if they're comfortable, if they have any health conditions or anything like that as well. With the field work, we still work directly with the NRCS, but we can only do 1 person per vehicle. So sometimes we have to have 2 vehicles on one site, or we do a lot with the GPS type of things. They always call ahead. They meet with the contractors after asking all the health questions and making sure no one has had exposure and that sort of thing. And then I'm going to move into outreach and promotion. So not only are we forced to think out of the box during this time, but it's also helped us because we don't have the busy day-to-day interruptions of the office. So a lot of the staff out in the field offices have had time to think out of the box a little bit. And we've had a lot of neat things come out about this. We've had a lot of Facebook and Twitter and Instagram pages that weren't currently in place that are now being used, and I think it's working very well because a lot more people are going to that sort of social media to check things out. The promotion has been great. I think we're at or be above what we have normally had for applications for cost share in most areas anyway. And I think it's just easier to follow up with the calls because most people are around their phone or around their computer for emails and that sort of thing too. So that's been a plus. There's definitely times when you need signatures that it takes a little longer. Either we send it in the mail or email or that sort of thing. Another thing with the outreach that I thought was really neat, I've been having weekly calls with my staff in my area, and I think the other field reps have been as well. One of the counties always has a spring outdoor classroom. Well, she decided to create a YouTube channel and tape each one of the sessions and drop it down into that YouTube channel. So more schools are able to view this, more classes are able to view this, and a lot of the science teachers are using this as their curriculum. So that's pretty exciting, I think. We've been encouraging all of the staff to continue to send in pictures and videos of them doing field work. We want to make sure that everyone knows that we are continuing our business and we want to keep putting conservation on the ground, and we want to promote that on any of our social media through IDOLS. And we've been doing a pretty good job with that. I think our communications people have been very busy and they've been doing really well. Like a few of the other ones have been saying, like in Colorado, I think it was, with the tree sales, we also did tree sales this year. We did have some issues as well with the NRCS offices and not working out of those because of social distancing and that sort of thing. So we've been working a lot with the extension offices and opening up fairgrounds and that sort of thing to allow people to socially distance, unload the trucks, sort the orders, and then basically do drive up order fills. So they stay in their vehicles. One staff member goes out, checks on them and fills their order. So that's been working really well. But when it comes all down to it, I guess communication is basically the key. Right now, Susan, the director of the division, is not able to join us because she's doing just that. She's communicating with the staff. Every Wednesday morning, she has staff calls, and that's been very helpful. We split it up into the 4 areas so more people have time to talk and discuss things as needed. That's been basically, communication is the key, and I think everybody so far has said that. We're very lucky nowadays to have all the technology that we do have. So I guess that's about all I have. I wanted to send it back to Kate. We do have an exciting program. Well, it's not an exciting reason, but we have a good program going on right now in Iowa, and Kate wanted to talk about that a bit.
Yeah, you bet. One of the other communication things I wanted to mention was that Iowa takes a lot of pride in their conservation partnership, not only with NRCS, but a variety of other partners. But one of the things that our state con has put into place is we've been having bi-weekly half-hour virtual meetings with our state NRCS leadership and counterparts. And it's been really, really helpful, I think, just to kind of see some faces, but also just discuss concerns that are happening around the state and ensure that we're providing consistent guidance across the state, regardless of who's writing your paycheck. So that has been really helpful, and we've got another one scheduled for this Friday. One of the other things I just kind of wanted to mention, and the Division of Soil Conservation and Water Quality doesn't have a ton to do with this, but there's been a lot of media around the country about packing house shutdowns or facilities operating at decreased capacity. Our Secretary of Agriculture recognized that this can be very stressful for a lot of producers. So we have started a resource coordination center, and it connects producers with industry experts, state agencies, and technical specialists to explore different options for the harvest of livestock. Then as a last resort, this resource coordination center provides technical resources to help producers humanely euthanize and dispose of livestock. So, some of these producers are, working with our local field offices to see if there's any kind of financial resources available, but, just an overall, partnership goal that we've had is making sure that we are doing what we can to help producers during this challenging time. And that's all I think I've got.
Well, thanks so much, Kate and Michelle. Outstanding presentation, and you take us into a lot of different things, the teleworking agreements and the YouTube channel, and all the way into the food supply network. Thanks so much for those presentation.